He favors wearing dark clothes. He usually wears jeans. He hates getting out of his jeans. He hates having to put on dress pants and a suit and go do that kind of... He will, but he's more comfortable in his jeans and his t-shirt kind of thing. What you will like about him is you won't have to worry. He's going to pursue you. He's definitely the kind of man that believes that it's the man that's supposed to take the emotional risk and ask for the date and pay for the date and plan the date and all that kind of stuff that shows us that they give us some value and worth. And he gets the game. I call it the great game because we do have to play the game if we want to get there. But he knows the rules, so to speak. He's a very loving man. He's a very giving man. And I think he's maybe dated 2 other people since his wife passed, and she passed quite a while ago. She passed probably a good 5-6 years ago. But he was just that determined, I want to finish this life and take care of the responsibilities of this life before I start a new one. And so to me, that really puts him up there as far as thinking. Spiritually, I think he's, excuse the phrase, I think he's a recovering Catholic. I think he was raised Catholic. And as he became an adult, he moved away from some of the dogma and philosophy of Catholicism, started reading on his own. He's a great fan of Redfield, I think, James Redfield, Celestine prophecy stuff. That's come through real strong for him. He believes in that vibrational level, and we're all spiritual beings, and we need to move forward kind of thing. He's very based in his spirituality. He doesn't talk about it a lot. A lot of men don't, and I think in his lifestyle right now, there's not a lot of opportunity for that. I think the last time he was in a church was the last time he took his kids to church when they were kids. He's not a big go to church on Sunday kind of person. Right. But he might need some time at least once a week out walking around just talking. Just talking to God or whatever he perceives, because it feels like he's got a very deep connection, but it's a personal one and one that he doesn't share a lot. You will see his connection. I think he might open up to you when he sees your connection being very much like his, where it's a very deep or personal one from personal seeking. And I think that's really strong. Now, the big information. Number 1, I think you meet him the first part of August. You two are dating by the end of August. By October, you both know. But you're both kind of, sounds really good, feels really good, but just a little longer. And I'm seeing by December, you're talking about making it official. Now, I honestly have to say I'm not sure if official is actually getting married or just planning to go forward from that point and how we're going to go forward from that point. But I do see around December the time that you two start talking about and negotiating how you're going to bring it closer together. I'm not saying he's adverse to marriage. I'm saying that he wants to see where you're at. There's a little boy in there that has been a terrified little boy since his wife died. Now, he's dealt with his grief, and he's dealt with the fear, obviously. He's raised the kids, and he's gotten them through college. Now that little boy wants to find a new little girl to play with. This Jack wants to find a Jill to carry the pail up the hill with him. And he's looking for somebody that wants that fun. And, well, let's just go do this. You don't have anything on your schedule today? I'm clear. Well, let's go drive up to Glacier. Look around Glacier Park. I mean, he's a man of movement, a man of doing things. So he'll pull you out of yourself a little bit and pull you out of the turtle shell a little bit. And he will definitely be the kind of guy that if he thinks it's your turn in the limelight, he's going to push you there. And if he thinks you've got a good idea or that you're good at something, he's going to push you there. He's not going to let you rest on your laurels. He's going to go, CC, all that equipment is fantastic and we got your certifications. Why don't we put an ad in for it? We'll do a big half-page ad. That's okay, I'll pay for it. We'll do a big half-page ad. That kind of supportiveness. It's, in a way, you might almost have to go, I love you, dear, but back off a little. This is my business. You got yours over there. And it's not because he wants to take it over or control it for you. He's good at making successful decisions about business. Give him a grain of thought. But your business path and the way you move your business is very different than he does his. Because yours is more about connecting with the right people at the right time. Yours is total compassion. His is more get it done. Yours doesn't quite so much have a get it done factor as it does have the care for the people and make sure they feel like they're cared about factor. And so that might be a little bit for him to understand at first, and part of why he's well, why aren't you doing this, and this? And you look at him and go, well, if I do this, and this, I'll have spent about $1,800 and gotten back from it. You know? One other thing, the Natural Health magazine that they have here in Bozeman. Have you thought about advertising in that? Or are you in it now? Or
I'm not in it. Yeah.
You might want to think about, because there's a lot of people that come up here for holistic reasons, because of the hot springs and because of the Native American traditions and the shamans and all that kind of stuff. And you might want to start advertising in there, especially on the biofeedback, because that's something, like for me, like I told you in my email, it changed my life. And something like biofeedback, well, my daughter has real bad menstrual cramps. Do you think it could help with that? We're talking muscle tissue here, biofeedback. Yeah. You know, and those types of things. And maybe just an ad that biofeedback helps with cramps, memory retention, pain, temperature control, heart control. You know, there's so many things you do with biofeedback. And there's a lot of people that come up here specifically for health reasons. It is a health destination as much as the Mayo Clinic and Walter Reed is. And getting the word out there to the people that are coming up and visiting would probably be good for you too. And he's the one, he's going to, well, where's your website? What are you doing on a website? What you got here? What you got there? And it's not because he's trying to be pushy, it's because these are all business things for him, and he wants your business to be successful. Not because of the money.
Where does he live?
Actually, he lives in two places. He lives here in the valley. Well, not in the valley, actually, up in the Bridger Canyon. He lives up in Bridger Canyon. He's here from about, I want to say, April to the first part of October. And then from October to May, or October to April, he's down south. It doesn't feel like Phoenix. It feels more the Texas area. And I think it's like it's a very populated big city. And it feels like either Houston or Texas. Or Houston or Houston or Dallas, Texas is what it feels like he spends the other part of the year. But he does go back and forth between the two. I believe that he raised the kids in Texas and that this is his place. And what I'm getting is that he isn't going to be doing the half and half too much longer. It's like he's working at closing down the life in Texas to have his life for himself. Very compartmentalized about that, and I think that was how he had to deal with it and do what he needed to do. But it's very compartmentalized, and his thinking is very compartmentalized. And what in his head, what he did down in Texas was what he needed to do to raise his family and get them going. And he's done his responsibility part, and he's stood up and been the good dad and the good widower and all that kind of stuff. And now he wants some fun. Not necessarily going crazy, because he's lived a rather conservative lifestyle. But now it's time for him to start looking for a lady for himself, start looking for a life for himself. What pleases him? What does she want to do? What do we want to do together? And I hope you like traveling, because that's something he really wants to do.
What can you tell me about his age?
Early 50s. Between 50 and 55. Yeah, it's between 50 and 55.
So younger than me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's happening a lot more than you think. Right now, the average relationship, newly starting relationship, he's 2 to 4 years younger than she is in our age category. 50 or above, he's usually 2 to 4 years younger than she is. Now, I'm not saying you're a cougar category. You don't seem to be that kind of gal to me, Cece. You just don't. You know, it's not like you're a cougar, but I do think he's a few years younger than you are. Age isn't his issue. It's the connection. It's what he feels when he sees you. That's what's important to him. He's one of those that are over 50. Isn't age just a number now? You know, he's got kind of that attitude towards it. Age doesn't mean anything to you when you really love someone. That's not the qualifying factor, and that's where he comes from, is a feeling of love and serious, deep. He wants that connection. He doesn't want exactly what he had with his wife, because that was young love, and it was beautiful and grand, and it was wonderful for him. But he wants to find out what it's like for Come Grow Old With Me, the best is yet to be. He did not get that part. And that's the part he really wants to find. And that's what he's really looking for, is that Come Grow Old With Me, the best is yet to be commitment. And this is the kind of guy, when he decides to propose, he's not going to say, well, let's get married. He's going to plan a whole dinner night, and he's probably the kind of guy that will get down on his knee in the middle of the whole restaurant to propose. Because he's sure, he knows you won't say no. Because he knows you two are right. And that's the only reason why he proposes, is because he knows you two are right together. So I think you've got some real good stuff coming up, starting in this summer, late summer, and then moving into the fall. And by the time we hit the holiday period here in the States, you aren't going to have to worry about what you're doing for the holidays, where you're going, what you're doing for the weekend, or where you're going, because that's all going to be planned with him.
Sounds great.
It really does. It feels great too, and I love it, because it just, the thing I love about it is it's got this nice, calm, really, let's just settle down with each other kind of feeling to it. That is just kind of like, once you walk in the door and you two are home with each other, that's the way it is. It's just all the stress of the rest of the world stays out there, and you two have created this little cocoon for yourselves. And I like that. I want to go there. It really feels good. So I think you've got some great stuff coming. Okay?
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for letting me tape you.